but I'm sure they'll have to listen to her bark.
Come here. Okay. All right. Can you hear us okay? Because like I said,
Yeah,
we're on
We're
speakerphone.
live.
I can hear you guys just fine.
Yeah, we are live. I didn't see the live button come on, but we welcome everybody to another weekly reject show. We are coming to you from my cellular device today.
Well, me
As
too. So it's all good. We're all on our phones.
yeah,
Those dang phones.
our laptop went kaplooey for a little bit, so but we're making it work. We got some voice audio, and we are here with our favorite people. I got my wife next to me, Lindsay.
Said she's not a people, but she is your
Yeah, and we have my elderly dog. You can hear her growling and barking, um, because she constantly thinks she's hungry, even though she's not. And then we have Cody, sir. How are you? How are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. Lindsay, happy International Women's Day and happy International Women's Day to all women out there who might be watching later.
Yes.
Thank you. Nobody else wished me a happy International Women's Day, Christopher.
Well, I'm sorry. I was a little busy today, being told that our our poor old decrepit van is coming to an end.
Trying to go be without us.
Yeah, it's trying to go be with the car gods.
Is
It's in car hospice.
it in the state of Meryl Streep and Goldie Hawn at the end of Death Becomes Her?
Yeah, with duct tape.
If they'd have been a little worse off at the end, probably so.
Yeah, but anyway, happy International Women's Day.
Yay, women!
Yeah,
Go us,
so
Breaker. This is not.
and yeah, that's what we are talking today. We are talking, excuse me, we are talking Death Becomes Her, which I absolutely love because of not only Goldie Hawn and Meryl Streep, but also Bruce Willis being in his what I think to be his comedic prime, because he's fresh off of Moonlighting and Look Who's Talking and things like that. So we still get to see a fresh comedic
Not so loose cannon cop on the edge, Bruce Willis.
yeah.
At least not until 14.
Okay,
And
so
then-
let's. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. And then I was going to say we were talking Jennifer's Body, which you know what? I put that movie off because of the advertising for that film. I was totally put off by it. I had no intention of seeing it, but now I'm glad I did, and we'll get into those reasons. But it sounded like you wanted to go ahead and talk Death Becomes Her, Cody.
Whichever one you want. I just was gonna segue into something because you mentioned Bruce Willis about him being in his comedic prime. So whichever one you guys want to talk first, we can talk first.
Well, let's go ahead, since we're on the topic of Bruce Willis. Let's go ahead and segue into Death Becomes Her. Which, by the way, my uncle loaned my family this movie, along with the Addams Family that he had recorded. He used to pirate tapes.
So he was doing the 2 VCR setup.
Yes,
It's a VHS pirate.
That is how I got. That is how I got an early copy of Batman. Is because he was able to rent it the first day that it came out. And I think he had a friend that worked at the video store, and he was able to get a hold of it, copy it, and I was watching a video recorded copy of '89 Batman.
What's the statute of limitations on VHS piracy?
Right.
Before you mention his full name.
Well, I'm pretty sure we missed that.
I mean, technically, as long as he wasn't making copies and selling them,
right,
he's not really doing anything. If it's for personal use, they can't do nothing. They have to have a record of like someone like profiting off making their own copies.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was gonna say this was a ballsy move of Bruce Willis at this time in his career, and he did this a lot actually to work with either interesting directors or interesting actors or taking smaller roles. Like this is at the height of him being an action star, and here he's playing like they're aging him up like about 10 to 12 years from what his actual age is for one, which Bruce Willis did always look older, but still, and they're making him play like this schlubby dude, you know.
Yeah,
Well,
very nervous,
that just goes
kind
to
of
show you his.
sweaty man.
Yeah, that I think he really got pigeonholed into being.
That's his range that we got a little chance.
Yeah, that just shows his range. Like, and he. I'm sorry, I will keep going back to Moonlighting because you got to see.
It is delightful.
You got to see all of Bruce Willis in Moonlighting. You got to see serious Bruce Willis. You see comedic Bruce Willis. You see romantic chops Bruce Willis. He got to showcase all of that. And then when he started doing movies, it was just either or. Like earlier in his career, he did have some comedies and stuff like that. But then he kind of went.
He got too serious.
Yeah, he started getting into the action genre. And that's kind of what he got typecast as. I mean, he kind of went back into comedies a little bit later on. He did what, the whole 9 yards? Was it the whole 9 yards? Or,
That is the one he did, but he must have at least liked the script or at least liked the idea of working alongside Meryl Streep and Goldie Hawn and Robert Zemeckis or one of those people or all the above, because you could tell he actually cares.
right.
Because sadly, Bruce Willis has had to retire because of his illness he has. But there were certain parts later in his career where you could tell he didn't really care if he was in the movie or not.
Yeah,
And
'cause he already cashed the check.
but this one, he's giving it. He's giving a interesting comedic performance, and he's having to act opposite two legends. Like, arguably, Meryl Streep is the greatest actor of her generation, and Goldie Hawn is arguably probably the greatest comedic actor of her generation.
Well, and they were also well established before he was too, because he was coming off of wine cooler commercials and TV.
Yeah, but I mean, by the point Death Becomes Her comes out, Die Hard has been
Hard.
Yeah,
he's already done 2 Die Hards.
But they've already done like
their careers were.
Oh yeah,
in their careers.
Yeah.
So
established.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons Kurt Russell was happy about dating Goldie Hawn, because his first wife divorced him because he was getting too big a name of an actor, and he's like, well, I'll never be more famous than Goldie Hawn.
Wow. Huh.
So he was like,
They've been together this whole, a long ass time too, so.
I just love the idea that it's like I pick a powerful woman and I'm gonna be her cheerleader.
Yeah.
She's already made it.
so Lindsay, you wanted to talk about this movie, and now it's not directed by a woman, it's directed by a man, it's written by a man, but it's got 2 titans in the leads. So what do you like about this movie?
This was I don't know, it just was kind of something about Goldie Hawn and Meryl Streep specifically, probably. It was just like, it felt like I was watching a very grown-up movie, which is very important when you're not a grown-up. It's very cool to seem grown-up. But I also thought it was just really, the magic and the supernatural aspect and the kind of the cartoony fights that they have and the injuries that they get. I just thought it was really entertaining, and it was definitely like a blank VHS in your grandma's entertainment center kind of movie.
Yeah.
But I loved it, and it was one of the few things I could watch at grandma's every time I went. So, and it's funny that you said that you got it with the Addams Family, because they do kind of seem like the same.
They're both very dark comedies.
Yeah, dark comedy, but
Morbid.
not so
morbid
dark
comedies.
your kids are going to need any kind of therapy for having watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah, except this movie is way more super horny than the Addams Family.
Yeah.
Well, and thankfully at the time, both that vibe flew over my head for both films. So
But I secretly think that's part of Zemeckis' sense of humor too. If you look at like a lot of his movies, like even Back to the Future, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, like
Oh yeah.
Yes.
there's some weird stuff going. He's got some weird. He might have some weird kinks.
Maybe.
for sure.
He definitely likes patty cake.
but yeah. I don't think this movie was a financial success, and it's definitely a mixed. It was definitely mixed from critics at the time it came out. Though I bet now critics probably wish Zemeckis would make more movies like this
Yeah.
instead of what he's making now.
Hmm. I don't know what I think another draw for this movie for me was the effects, the special effects. Like I'm grown and I still want one of those bottles that whatever that stuff was came in.
You want the magic pink juice that makes you look like Isabella Rossellini for the rest of
Yes,
your life.
Absolutely, please.
Well, that's straight up
or
ILM.
Goldie Hawn or Meryl Streep if it makes me look like any of them.
That's Edlin and ILM and
Oh, of course it is.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's how I kind of knew what this movie was. Is it was there was so when the Phantom Menace came out, there was like a TV special about industrial light and magic,
oh, I know what you're talking about. I remember that.
and they highlighted this movie, and I'm like, this is a Robert Zemeckis movie. What is this? And then I rented it, and I was like, oh, this movie's hilarious.
Yeah.
it's just delightful and silly and murderous.
Random. It's probably not a random fact, but I don't know how I just learned this. But did you guys know Isabella Rossellini, who plays like the lady who like sells the juice to people to make them stay young? She is
Dark Arts.
yeah, she is Ingrid Bergman's daughter.
Oh wow.
Well, that makes sense.
I did not know that though. But yeah, totally.
I am just finding that out too. That's crazy.
Holy moly! And she was married to Martin Scorsese in the 80s
Yep.
for a blip of time.
And she dated David Lynch.
Oh yeah.
And she likes weird dudes, I guess.
Well, she said she likes pasty, out of shape, nerdy guys.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Good for her.
She said they're more appreciative.
That hurts a little bit.
Isn't that the truth? Like,
No, it just means they had to develop some kind of personality that was appealing. Right?
yeah, I'm sure it's personality.
Hey, I'm
That's
never on
good.
camera. I'm a big personality gal. I am more than happy to work on my personality. I'm on set.
But I mean, I gotta wonder, like, not only was this ballsy for Bruce Willis, this is probably ballsy for Meryl Streep too, to do this movie.
Right.
Yeah, especially at this time.
But it's probably another thing where an actor of her caliber is like, well, I want to give a shot at comedy and try comedy.
She's always seemed like a very funny lady. Like I thought that was part of her appeal as like the ultimate acting threat was that she can be funny and she can be serious and she can be heartfelt and you just want to watch her do anything. Like, isn't there that joke? They're like Meryl Streep could play Batman.
And I do think it's clever that they have her play the actress too in this. Like she is like playing an actress.
Right. kind of meta, like it's like a caricature of like how much we joke about celebrities being obsessed with their looks and like the maintenance of those looks. But she does it in a very endearing way, even though they're both terrible and irredeemable after they sell their souls for eternal youth.
Yeah, and that was the other thing. I was like, why are they fighting over Bruce Willis? But really, they're not fighting over Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis just happens to be there by circumstance that he's.
It's all because it's what the other one wants. And then
Yeah.
Competitive frenemies relationship that's like, you got to do bigger and better and one up.
You're right. He probably has not a lot to offer other than just being, he's a plastic surgeon, right?
Dr.
Well,
about that.
Eventually, yeah, that's what he has to offer. And I mean, but like, they like totally dweeb him up in this movie, right? Like,
Oh, yeah.
and he's only 37 when this movie comes out.
Wow.
Yeah, his character is like past his prime career of being a cosmetic surgeon. He's a mortician now. He just makes dead people look good because that's all the scrutiny he can stand at this point in his life.
The lady who comes up to him at the book party, a Goldie Hawn's book party, and says, "Oh, you worked on my aunt or whatever. Thank you so much." And you know, like she's like, "How do you do it?" And then she gets offended when he says a spray paint. That lady used to be married to Robert Zemeckis.
Oh wow!
Okay.
You probably reckon. I think so at the time. You probably recognize her as the mom from either the Goonies or Monster Squad or the psychiatrist from the Lethal Weapon movies.
Okay. Yeah.
I think she's also in Die Hard. I think she's like the news reporter.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah. Yeah, she was married to Robert Zemeckis from 1980 to 2000.
Wow. Okay.
That's a stretch.
Yeah.
I do like you mentioned her. She's asking about like how he made her look so nice. And he's like, it's mostly just like spray paint and spackle and stuff. But that is essentially Goldie Hawn and Meryl Streep. They think they're getting eternal youth, but in the end, they end up just spackling and spray painting and duct taping everything together. So
well, yeah.
Do they sell their mortality for?
Right.
It didn't even take that long.
Yeah, what's the point of living forever if you have to live like that?
Exactly.
They became mummies, basically.
Yeah, like, okay, yeah, you get to stay young looking, but like, come on, you're like barely being able to walk and
Right.
you're like patched together. So yeah, you can't die, but you still have your body still has the effects of what happens to it.
And I do love at the end how Bruce Willis's character at the eulogy, they talk about how he goes on to live like this long and happy life and help a bunch of people and have a bunch of kids and
all the things he couldn't do because he was trapped between them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like he did get his in the end. He got to be happy.
He got the good life.
And they just ended up being miserable, walking corpses.
Yeah. Why didn't they just stay at the party house with all the dead celebrities who aren't dead apparently? You know, we see Elvis and Jim Morrison and James Dean, Marilyn.
Yeah.
And Greta Garbo. So, yeah. Yeah, they even pull an Elvis joke. It's like, for those of you who faked your death, please don't go back into public. Because, you know, there's always those people that are saying they saw Elvis.
Oh, yeah.
He faked his death, guys.
Picking up some Twinkies. Going out for that peanut butter and niner sandwich.
I think my favorite Goldie Hawn moment though in the movie is early on after the setup of like introducing the characters and then Meryl Streep ends up marrying Bruce Willis and we see her in her apartment being a cat lady and
Yeah.
she's just rewatching that movie where Meryl Streep gets killed.
Yeah, that was pretty great. That was a great part. Yeah, overall, I really enjoy this watching this movie every once in a while. It's fun to revisit. Like, good.
Oh, yeah, I think it's just a fun movie. You've got these three really gifted actors giving it their all in a movie they probably none of them had to do. And I'm wondering who signed on first, and did the others like, okay, I want to work with that person?
This is probably one of my favorite Bruce Willis movies and performances because, again, this just like everyone always talks about Die Hard or one of his serious movies where he's, or I See Dead People or whatever the case may be. But this movie doesn't get brought up a lot. And I really think he was brilliant in this movie. And
Well, I
really
think I
got
have a reason why it doesn't get brought up, other than maybe it just wasn't that popular. But also, for Robert Zemeckis' career, it's wedged between the Back to the Future sequels and Forrest Gump. Like it's right between those movies. So
I can see that. I can definitely see that.
so that probably gets lost in the shuffle. Plus, dark comedies are a hard sell for whatever reason. Like I think a lot of people don't know how to react to them. They're like, is this supposed to be funny? Is this supposed to be like spooky? What is the vibe here? And which I don't understand, because a movie can't be more than one genre. You can't, be multiple genres in one movie.
Right. I remember So I Married an Ex-Murderer kind of being that way.
Yeah, that was Mike Myers' attempt at a movie. I think that was after Wayne's World, right? And I guess that didn't go very well. So he's like, well, I guess I got to do Wayne's World too.
Yeah. He was like, man, I'll never escape Wayne.
What's interesting about him, side tangent on Mike Myers for whatever reason. When The Love Guru didn't work and they're like, this kind of comedy just doesn't work anymore. He's like, well, I guess I'll just stop doing movies then. He's like, because that's my comedy. And he pops up in things every once in a while, oddly playing usually a British person. But yeah, he's just like, okay, if that's not working anymore, I guess I won't be the star of movies.
I mean, props to him for owning it, I guess, and being okay. Because I mean, look at Adam Sandler; he just keeps going. But
Yep.
he's had some gems.
I was gonna say Adam Sandler still, yeah, he cranks out those terrible movies where he plays somebody with a stupid voice or something, but he's also doing like interesting just acting jobs, like not just Uncut Gems, but his Netflix movie he did last year where he's like a basketball scouting coach is actually pretty good.
Yeah,
Like,
I haven't seen either of those films. Yeah, I keep hearing that's a good movie. We just haven't watched it yet.
But what else do you guys have to say about Death Becomes Her? Or
Yeah, Lindsay, we pretty much wrapped it up.
I mean, we didn't really talk about Goldie Hawn very much. Is there anything else you guys want to say about Goldie?
Goldie Hawn is everybody's Hollywood celebrity mom. And Kurt Russell is their dad. I don't make the rules. That's just who they are.
So I mean, Kate Hudson and Wyatt are siblings.
They are, aren't they?
Yeah,
Half siblings.
yeah.
Oh yeah, they are half siblings. That's what
Yeah,
you
there
said.
are siblings. Yeah, we get Evil, not Captain America, and gosh, I haven't watched
Penny
it.
Lane.
Yes, Penny Lane. That's way better than what I was going to remember her from.
You guys have seen the new Glass Onion, right? I mean, the Knives Out.
Yeah.
Yes,
She's
that was
great in that too.
She is. I apologize to Kate Hudson now because the only thing I could remember seeing her in was How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. But that's because I got to go see that for one of my teeny tweeny birthdays with my mom, and I thought that was pretty cool to see that in the theater.
Mm. I didn't see the other movie they did together.
Which one is that one?
Was it How to Lose a Guy or no?
I've seen that one. I haven't seen the other romantic comedy her and McConaughey did. It's like Fool's Gold or something.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I was thinking of the movie where Matthew McConaughey, he still lives at home. His
That's
parents.
Failure to Launch, and that has Sarah
Yeah.
Jessica.
Yep, that's Sarah Jessica Parker. Yeah. Well, all right. If you guys don't have anything else to say, I guess we can move on to Jennifer's Body.
Yeah, that sounds good. Like a very underrated movie, I think. I was surprised. I was surprised when we watched it. I was like,
It has kind of been reassessed now as like it's a cult film now, and it's very much I don't want to say like just women have like kind of reassessed this movie, but they kind of have and kind of been like, yeah, this is actually a pretty good feminist movie with it's saying something.
yeah, it was like.
I'm going to
Again.
blame the marketing because I
That is-
remember. I
Yeah.
remember
It
being
absolutely was the marketing because for whatever reason, Fox was like, "Oh, we got to market this to guys. We got to market this to boys." And I don't know if it was because Megan Fox was in the movie, or they were like, "Oh, it's about this sexy girl who kills people." Because yeah, the trailers were like. Basically, the trailers were like, "Look how hot Megan Fox is."
we already knew.
Well, no joke. I remember seeing the trailers and being like, "Man, what a waste! Like, I don't want to see this." They just made like a cheap, horny teen murder movie, and it's gonna bomb. And like, I wasn't no ill will against Megan Fox, but I was like,
We
that's kind of
more for her than Transformers.
I was like, that's kind of gross. Yeah, I was like, man, I have no interest in seeing this.
Well, and that was the other thing. So, yeah, people didn't like, we can sit here and argue whether what her talents are as an actor or not. But also, that is how they were marketing her from the beginning. Michael Bay discovered her when she was like 15 years old and puts her in Bad Boys 2 in some skimpy outfit with like a water hose or something. I don't know. I haven't seen Bad Boys 2 since it came out.
Terrible International Women's Day.
Yeah. And then like she got in trouble for basically saying he was like a Hitler on set. And I remember her like questioning, she's like, why do I have to be bent over while I'm like working on a car in a skimpy outfit? Which is a valid reason. Why does she have to wear a skimpy outfit other than they're like, oh, people want to see that?
It's really interesting as an adult to think back on those stories and like headlines and situations we heard about and like how everybody kind of dismissed it then. But if we stop and think about it and actually look into it for the parts that we can't remember, it's like, oh, wow, yeah, no, maybe Megan Fox isn't a bad actress. Maybe she just couldn't find a space that she was able to act because it was all about dudes like Michael Bay and marketing teams who were like, Hot girl makes money. Put her in things.
Yeah, which is not clearly what Karyn Kusama and Diablo Cody wanted. So yeah, Diablo Cody, she wrote Juno, right? Juno was an acclaimed movie, Oscar nominated. I think it won the Oscar for Best Original Screenplay. Like, they did not make this movie to make it what it was marketed as. And Karyn Kusama talked about like them showing this to a test audience, and it was a test audience full of boys, like probably ages 18 to 25. And yeah, one of the complaints was not enough boobs, and she said they literally wrote boobs wrong. It was like BWWBS or something.
Whoa. I weep.
Yeah,
So-
like
If you spell boobs, you don't get more of them in the movie.
right? That's what I'm like. If you don't know how to spell, then no, you don't get. That's not what this movie is. Like, yeah, there's stuff in here that's like, but it's not what you want. What it was marketed as. It's much more clever than that.
Yeah, and
I'm surprised they didn't want any BEJANIA.
they couldn't spell that when they stuck with boobs.
Well, yeah, they would. I doubt those guys even know that's actually the term for it.
Yeah, they're not putting any anatomical terms down on those suggestion cards. It feels like the guys she does murder in this movie are way too sympathetic characters. Like, I feel bad for what's the last guy she kills?
Chip, the Amanda Seyfried's boyfriend.
Before she tries to kill Chip. And I do like Chip as a character. He's a solid boyfriend.
Oh, I totally feel bad for the emo guy, but emo guy, what he sort of knew something was up. If I was that dude and I knocked on the door, no one answered, I'd be like, okay, I got pranked. I'm out of here. Bye.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be like, man, abandoned houses, nobody around. I don't know about this.
But yeah, I definitely feel bad for him.
The fact that he is just shows you what horny dudes will go through.
Well, and that's also what they're kind of saying. Teenage boys are stupid, right? They'll do anything to get laid, right?
Yeah, they will swim through piranha infested waters, I'm sure.
But yeah, like Lindsay, your point is right. Like, it's not like the guys she's eating in the movie are not exactly like they didn't have it coming, really. Because like even the football guy, like really, he wasn't like that bad of a guy. He's upset that his friend died, and the poor exchange student, he's just trying to get home.
Yeah. Well, Chris Pratt, he
Oh man, oh.
he ran out of the building on fire, which, hey. But
So did we think Chris Pratt died?
Oh, he died because we don't see him the rest of the movie. Or he's in intensive care.
Is this was definitely filmed before Parks and Rec, but I wonder if Parks and Rec was already on TV when this movie came out.
Possibly, because he was just supposed to cameos in that.
Oh, was he not supposed to be a recurring character on that show?
No, he was supposed to be written off, but people liked him so much that they kept him. And
Paired him with Aubrey Plaza instead of Rashida Jones.
Hulk up for Marvel, and then he kind of got written out, I think, or it ended. The show ended.
Yeah, so the show was already on the air, but that was its first season. I don't think a lot of people caught on to the show till like season 3.
Yeah, I know we didn't. It might have been over when we started it.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I Netflixed it. I didn't watch it while it was running. But yeah, he's a total creeper because you know, he's clearly an adult and also supposed to be becoming an officer, so you know better, Chris Pratt.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he acts just like somebody going into the police academy, though.
Oh, totally. Like we all know that guy, and I have actually heard of local cops in some towns like harassing young women, like what pulling them over for no reason and something, and a lot of times some of those young girls are underage.
I'll cough. Hometown.
Yeah,
So
what's the 40% of police officers? If you don't know how that ends, you could Google that statistic and see what you come up with. But Chris Pratt fits the profile.
I read her letterbox review that was like, that's just Chris Pratt's wardrobe. He didn't need to be wardrobe. He just showed up dressed like that.
He already had the costume at home.
Yeah.
I still think that those guys that did die, they should have been like jerkier. I feel like they were too like pitiful
Neutral.
puppies being, baby seals being clubbed instead of like active predators or protagonists to Jennifer specifically.
Yeah, that would have been more satisfying too, but I don't know if the movie is supposed to have us like be on Jennifer's side. I think we're supposed to be following Amanda Seyfried's character.
Yeah, who I did not know was in this movie until we turned it on. She's not in any of the stuff I remember watching when this movie came out.
Yeah, I mean, if she's in the trailers, it's hardly showing her. But of course, at this time, Megan Fox was a more popular actor.
Where's my phone? What year did Jennifer's Body come out?
Oh well, Mamma Mia had already come out.
Yeah,
but
that's what I was going to say. She had just been in Mamma Mia, I think, unless it came out first.
No, Mamma Mia came out in 2008, and she was in Mean Girls. But I guess so. Interesting, but yeah, I don't remember being her heavily into. I just remember her saying Jennifer's evil, and he's like, yeah, and she's like, no, I mean not just high school evil.
Yeah, she's like the entire evil, but she wasn't.
No. I mean, she's a shitty person.
For sure, but what high school kid isn't sometimes? They're children.
That's true. That's true.
I feel bad about saying that those boys should have been more brutally murdered. They were kids. I should have been nicer. But that band, screw that band. Why didn't they get like the climax of the movie? Why was that thrown in the credits?
Yeah, we should have actually seen that happen. Even though I like that helped me like the movie even more with that twist, you know.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, and they're playing the whole song. I'm like, yeah. And I guess this is the first time because Adam Brody ends up being in another really good movie, which you might like, Lindsay, because it's not as supernatural as this, but it's called Promising Young Woman. So what happens in that movie is Carey Mulligan was a medical student, and she quit school because her best friend was raped at a party and eventually kills herself. So what Carey Mulligan does is pretend to be shit-faced drunk at bars. So, you know, guys are like, oh, let me take you home and la la la, you know, and then she like basically calls guys out on their bullshit when they try to take advantage of her. And Adam Brody's one of the guys. Like, actually, the director specifically casts like comedians and mostly male actors, you know, as nice guys or who play nice guys usually in things.
That's an excellent choice on the casting director's part.
Yeah, it's really clever. So you might be more satisfied with like the people that get targeted in that one. But that's also a 2020 movie as compared to a 2009 movie. But
Mhm.
yeah, Adam Brody, shitty dude in this movie. Though it is pretty funny, like when they're like, "Do you know what you had to do to be famous this day and age?"
Yeah, they do have some like there is a bit of comedy in that whole scene right before they kill someone. Like he says something about he's like, and then Dirk's gonna wear your face, and Dirk is
Yeah.
like, what? And he's like, I'm just kidding. Everything except for the face thing's gonna happen.
Well, like even his he is not very subtle on what they're planning to do, right? Like he's trying to force her to drink the drink and everything. Like it's creepy, but he's playing it in a comedic way. Like
Yeah,
his demeanor with everything about it.
yeah. I don't know. I guess this movie reminds me of like attitudes about teenage girls at the time.
Oh, for sure.
And it's a very unfair. They do the whole like, what is it? The whore Madonna dichotomy of Amanda Seyfried's character being like, she doesn't even say bad words. She says like heck and gosh
Hmm.
darn, which is even
Yeah,
funnier than Big Love.
Yeah.
She looks like her
it
character got to go to a normal public school.
it's very much playing with the tropes of, oh, this is the good girl and this is the bad girl, and yeah.
I'm interested in how the transference of demon powers works when you kill one. Get bit
Well,
by one.
I was gonna say, didn't Jennifer bite her before she killed her?
Yeah.
But she doesn't have to eat. Like she just has the powers, like the super
Right. Well, that
strength
seems
and
way better deal.
right. You just get the strength, but not have to.
You get to be an X-Men.
She gets the float.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Also, is like, are they playing a metaphor with all of that with Jennifer too? Like when she doesn't eat, oh, she looks bloaty, and oh, she doesn't look well. Like
And then when she feeds, she looks like she stepped out of a Herbal Essences commercial.
uh huh. Like I think there's even, I think Diablo Cody and Kara Kusama were doing something and saying something that maybe the world wasn't ready for in 2009. Weirdly,
Or that like studio executive decision makers kind of got in the way of a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it feels like it's two different movies. Like there are parts of it that seem more like what I saw in the trailer, and then other parts where I'm like, man,
Like, did they
what did I
really?
miss out on this
Did
movie?
they really need to make out in it? I felt like that was something the
That was for the
studio wanted in
dudes.
there.
And the
I
whole
feel like that
thing.
was an executive note, even though like I do feel like there is like that kind of subtlety in their relationship a little bit though.
Yeah.
Like I think there is general sexual tension between the two of them. But that could just be curiosity. That could be just that Jennifer, the character Megan Fox plays, is just a sexual being, so she probably has sexual tension with almost anybody.
With anybody she's around, yeah.
Doesn't matter if they're male or female or non-binary.
Right. Maybe there could be maybe there could be a more woke sequel to this movie that could come out and make me feel better about it. I did enjoy it though. I felt really terrible for missing out on it for so long. Because for the last couple of years, especially, people want to watch horror movies in October and around Halloween, and that's always on the list.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I think it was just the attitude that society had about teenage girls and probably still does to a way too big degree, and how I felt about myself as a teenage girl at the time, that I was like, I'm not going to watch that. That's for boys to watch. That's some all about like the gratification of gore and like sexualized teenage girls that I was not trying to be about or support. But It is
You
a
know,
movie than I anticipated.
sorry. Jessica and I were watching something. I think it was Twin Peaks or one of the Twin Peaks. Might have been the Twin Peaks movie. And she's like, "How old is this girl supposed to be?" She's like, "No wonder people have fucked up views of sexuality." Because she's like, "Why are they always sexualizing like teenage girls in movies and things?" Or used to. I think that we're getting less of that now.
I hope. There's people still out there harassing Millie Bobby Brown and
Ugh.
that have 18th birthday countdowns for underage actresses, but I want to
Yeah,
know the vocal creepy minority.
yeah. I don't want to get on a director rant of a person I don't like, but do you guys know who Eli Roth is?
Oh yeah.
No.
He's the guy that made the Hostel movies.
Yeah, not a huge fan.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of him either. And apparently, Drew McWeeny, who's a film critic, film writer, used to write under the pseudonym Moriarty when he worked at Ain't It Cool News. I listened to a whole podcast. It was like an expose on Ain't It Cool News and like Harry Knowles and like how like they were one of them. And apparently Harry Knowles and Eli Roth used to high five each other and count the days until the Olsen twins were 18. Because if you guys remember, that was the creepy thing. Creepos were into it.
We watched those girls grow up on television.
Yeah, that's pretty grody.
It's like, oh, guys. And of course, I'm remembering a Kid Rock joke he made at the time, too, which that guy's grody, anyways.
He's more overtly grody than maybe we thought.
I have some Kid Rock jokes if you want to hear some.
Oh,
So, Kid Rock is the equivalent of an above ground pool.
How dare you disrespect our above ground pool?
Kid Rock makes music for people who know the exact amount that you can trade a catalytic converter for Sudafed.
What?
Population around here.
Kid Rock, it makes music for people who punch holes in the trailer house wall.
You gotta have something to punch to.
Your jokes are actually relevant because the reason he still does well, even though people don't download his music, is because the areas where people still buy CDs, he's like one of the most bought musicians.
Yeah.
That is really sad to think about.
Because that's who likes his music, which is like,
you don't have better options.
Right? I'm sure there are other CDs you can buy.
And I'm pretty sure that the Walmarts that they buy them from are the old Walmarts.
You talking about the brown and white Walmarts, Christopher? That's
brown, or the baby blue, or the blue and brown Walmarts.
Are there still Walmarts that don't have groceries in them?
Yeah, not non-super center Walmarts. There's few. They're out there. I've been in a couple. They're kind of scary. But
it's not as scary as the Nacogdoches Mall used to be.
Yeah, well, okay. Non-super center Walmarts are the equivalent of the Lufkin Mall or the Nacogdoches Mall.
The Lufkin Mall is okay.
Nah.
Yeah, the Lufkin Mall's okay. It's not scary. It's just sad because you're like, this used to be kind of a mall, but now it's basically a movie theater with a Victoria's Secret and a Bath and Body Works.
Yeah.
A movie theater with a really long hallway.
If it wasn't for that, that theater is keeping that mall open. God bless that theater.
Yeah. But yeah, well, the Nacogdoches Mall, I think they finally just got rid of whatever few stores were like actually in it, and now it's just a shopping center.
Yeah.
Like I don't think like the mall part is even used anymore but you remember when the inauguration was going on and we had the Bernie memes everywhere?
Yeah.
There was a Bernie meme of him in the Nacogdoches Mall just sitting there with his mittens and mask.
Oh my gosh.
That was my favorite one. But Jennifer's Body, yeah. So Karyn Kusama, who directed this movie, was in director jail for a while because she directed the Aeon Flux movie, which flopped, which apparently the studio butchered that movie as well.
Okay.
And then she gets put in director jail after this movie, even though this movie ended up making its money back. Like I think it cost $16 million and it made $31 million. So it made its money back. Like it wasn't a flop. But she spends like nearly a decade having to direct, which directing TV is not bad, but that's what she did before she did this little cool horror movie called The Invitation. But yeah, it's just ridiculous because this movie's not that bad. Also, critics at the time didn't like it because they said the movie couldn't figure out what kind of tone it wanted. Which again, movies can be more than one genre.
Right.
Like, it can be funny and spooky at the same time, guys. It's okay. But I don't know. Maybe like the older film critics are like, I don't get this humor. I don't like it.
Yeah.
It'd be great to be a critic and just be like, this is bad because I don't understand it. It's not for me.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, really, is, you know, when you look at a movie, like, I don't think you can say anything is objectively bad or good because there's somebody out there that's going to disagree with you. Ultimately, you can be like, look, I don't think this works. It just didn't gel with me. Like, that's really all you can say. It just didn't work for me. But if you look back at older movies, there's a lot of times critics will give something a bad review because they're afraid, like, oh, is this the future of movies? Is this what movies are gonna be? Is this a thing now? I don't like it.
Yeah.
Which is just an older generation not wanting to embrace something a younger generation is doing.
Right.
What do you guys think of J.K. Simmons as the teacher with the hook?
That was a surprise.
Yeah. That was odd, but I liked it. I liked him.
He's so sweet. He was like such a Mr. Rogers teacher. He's like, you know, he wants to be there and help the community grieve. And he's like, anyway, Jennifer, those are not nice comments.
I did love the whole thing about
He wasn't shouting.
Yeah.
him introducing the band. Like, they're going to do a benefit concert, and she's just rolling her eyes.
Oh, man, I love that. And I gotta agree with her. That song's stupid.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's very much one of those indie emo songs that were popular at the time, right?
Like, did they really need to kill someone for that song to be heard on the radio?
Yeah, it's not even that good of a song, guys. It sounds like every other band that was, like, had a song at that time.
Dude, it had it had a pretty decent soundtrack, though. It played some Doom stoner metal.
Oh, well,
The part where
that's
she's
Diablo Cody, man. That's Diablo Cody, I would imagine, because, you know, she's into that kind of music. Like, if you remember the soundtrack from Juno.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But like the part where she's swimming in the lake. I was like, holy crap, that's a song or a band I never thought I'd hear in a mainstream movie. That's pretty awesome because they're part of like the sludge metal genre.
Yeah, and I do love, like, there's this whole kind of weird Twilight Zone-y Twin Peaks vibes of this town. Like, you know, they got that little place in their waterfall where they don't know where things fall. Though we find out in the end where it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say she found it.
Yeah. Get a little cameo from Lance Hendrickson, who seemed kind of creepy, but I guess it's just because it's Lance Hendrickson.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I like this movie. I've seen it twice now, but I watched it a couple of years ago for the first time because, like you guys, I heard it wasn't good. You know, I was like, I don't really like Megan Fox. I don't think I want to watch this. I mean, because at first I was like, oh, it's written by the same lady that did Juno, but then like people said it wasn't good. And if you guys remember the Asian girl who's like, they're their inspiration. I read their Wikipedia. It's the same girl that's protesting abortion in Juno when she tells Juno that babies have fingernails.
Yes.
Okay.
I knew I had seen her face and heard her voice before.
Yeah.
This isn't. When did Juno come out?
2007.
Okay. Yeah, because I would not have known that those two movies were connected by a whole director.
Well, it's the writer. Karyn Kusama didn't direct Juno. That's Jason Reitman. But
Yeah.
which he's an executive producer on this.
Okay. Oh.
And I think it's interesting there's an Evil Dead reference because I think Diablo Cody worked on the script for the Evil Dead remake.
I noticed she was wearing an Evil Dead shirt.
Yeah, well she says that. Why are you in my Evil Dead shirt or whatever? And she has an Evil Dead poster in her room.
I don't know. It's interesting that Megan Fox is married to a man now that looks like somebody she should have killed in this movie.
Well,
Oh,
they're
Machine Gun Kelly or whatever his name is.
I thought they're just going out. I thought they split or something.
I thought they had like a commitment ceremony or something with rings
Not
or
that I
vials
keep
of
up with that
blood or
stuff. It's
something.
just what I see scrolling through, Facebook.
Well, I mean, whatever. I mean, she also dated one of the guys from 90210, didn't she?
Oh,
Who?
talking about.
I can't remember which dude it was. I think it's Brian Austin Green is his name.
Those are like those dudes are my sister's age. Like,
Well, Megan Fox is like my age.
well, I mean, like my oldest sister, Serena, probably like over.
Well, gosh, I hope she doesn't tune in to hear you call her.
I love Serena.
Guess who's not going to Easter or getting invited to Easter, Christopher?
You're not that old. I'm still your baby.
But I think the horror genre in itself, like you were saying, Lindsay, has a complicated history with its portrayal of women because it's often usually portraying women in like this strong, like, yeah, way, but also like they're also adhering to these weird patriarchal roles that men put women in.
Right.
So it's like very pro female, but also problematic with how it portrays females at the same time.
I think that's probably like the confusion that I feel about this movie. It's like two different versions of the story are being told at the same time. Like what the writer wanted us to see and experience, and then what the studio stepped in and was like, well, we're not going to sell enough tickets if we don't do this. We need more BWWB is.
So Brian Austin Green is 49. He's 13 years older than Megan Fox.
Okay. I was thinking he was like way older for some reason.
Who is 36.
Okay. I mean, I guess. I mean, I can't say anything. We're 7 years apart.
I mean, as long as they're adults, whatever,
Adults, my bad. I was thinking
it goes down and one of them wasn't an adult long before the other, and
I was thinking she was a lot younger and he was
well,
a lot older. Like
I mean, that's still a significant age difference, but I mean,
it is, and it's not my preference. But like you said, as long as they're consenting, I thought it was like a Leo DiCaprio and his 19.
there's something hugely like, yeah, he's obviously either making sure it's legal so he doesn't get in trouble, but there's something deeply rooted there with
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
I just think Leonardo DiCaprio can't let go of his Jack and Titanic days.
Yeah, I think he's still clinging.
That's part of it. That's part of it too, but like plenty of older actors date younger women, right? But it's not specifically has to be that age range, right? Like there's still like, Jack Nicholson has dated so many younger women, but they were like women ages sometimes, they were like in their 30s or 40s.
Yeah.
I don't know. Didn't he creep on Jennifer Lawrence one time?
Jack Nicholson?
Yeah.
I mean, probably. I mean, I'm not saying he didn't creep on people he shouldn't have when they're younger. I'm just saying he didn't specifically say, "Oh, they can't be older than 25."
Didn't ask for their ID to verify their age.
Yeah.
19 and a half.
To make sure they weren't
Get out.
too old.
Get out.
Yeah, that is a very weird specific age bracket, 18 to 25. But, that's also when your brain fully develops too, so
Literally the cutoff.
so
The cutoff age for when the human brain stops growing. It's
so
like I don't want anything after that. No thanks.
I don't need people who think for themselves.
Yes. Yeah, that's the vibe that's given off. Ugh.
Yeah, it's kind of which is a shame because I do like him as an actor, but that's a weird, Leo. You have issues.
Yeah, it's okay. I like Gary Glitter music, but he's a piece of shit. So
Oh, it's a total piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
What else? What else you guys think about this movie or want to talk about?
I liked it. I was pleasantly surprised by it. I'm glad we reviewed it. We got to watch it. It kind of had a vibe that it would also pair well with Trick or Treat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it does have that kind of sense of humor.
Yeah.
That was the other feeling. Trick or Treat. What was that other movie we watched that had Elijah Wood? Scary movie we watched.
Is it where he's a school teacher?
No, it's the one where he's a student and Josh Hart.
Oh, The Faculty. Yeah, The Faculty. Yeah. Speaking of Elijah Wood, I don't know if you guys have watched this show, but he's going to be on the new season of Yellow Jackets, and
I've heard
he's
that's decent. Like
it's fucking phenomenal. It's so good.
Ooh, I have to watch it.
And he's getting paired with Christina Ricci, who is playing a psycho on that show.
Oh, nice. So, what does this come on? Because we may start it tonight.
Well, it's on Showtime, but I'm sure you can find it through your methods. You watched the George and Tammy show, which was also on Showtime.
They had
Okay.
YouTube.
So you can probably find it, but if you can find it, I highly recommend it.
Getter is not getting anymore, so
It's a really good show. It's got Lost vibes and some other vibes. It's really good.
nice.
So,
Okay. Yeah,
and it'll definitely make you feel nostalgic for the 90s because it's about an all-girls soccer team from the mid-90s that crashes, and then it goes to the present day with the people that survived and came back home.
That's cool. Okay, we'll have to check that
So
out.
it's got Melanie Linsky, Juliette Lewis, and Christina Ricci.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to check that out. So, do we have anything else? Because I have a few things I want to cover before we
wrap up.
So
I think this is a very clever well done horror comedy. And if you were like us and ignored it when it came out because you thought it was just going to be some uh, skeezy Skinamax type of movie, it really isn't that movie, and it's really clever and fun, and actually has some interesting things to say. And yeah, you guys should let Karyn Kusama make more movies. Stop punishing women directors for making movies that don't do well when you give Michael Bay and other mediocre male directors infinite chances.
Right.
Amen.
Right.
Because at least this is a well-made film.
Mm.
Yeah, I agree. Like I I I was totally misled by the marketing, and I'm happy that we got to see this.
Yeah, I just don't
Yeah.
understand why they think teenage boys are the ultimate selling point for any movie. Like, there are other markets of people who want to watch movies.
Right.
Specifically, like marketing groups that have and spend more of their own income.
Yeah. And this is a rated R movie, so how many teenage boys were getting into this movie?
Yeah.
Mm-mm-mm.
Though I bet there were a lot of them that were upset when they watched it.
Right.
Good.
There were no
The fake
BWWWWBS.
Switch was worth the terrible marketing campaign if they all went home and had nightmares about girls eating their private parts.
Yeah, there were no bubes.
Well, you shouldn't just go off with whatever girl says, hey, let's have sex. And especially if all the animals in the forest are showing up, something is up. Just saying.
Right.
Yeah, if there are animals you've never seen before staring at you, you should run.
And if your fugly self finds yourself with a hot girl and she's like, hey, come on, let's go over
Mean it,
here,
abandoned building.
then yeah, something's up. She's gonna eat your face.
Also, maybe not believe your girlfriend's friend who you know is kind of a terrible person when she's like, oh yeah, your girlfriend was cheating on you. Like, Chip's a nice guy, but come on, Chip, you knew she was full of crap.
Right.
Yeah, he definitely fell for his own pretty girl bias. Like, he's been with Amanda Seyfried's character long enough to be like, yeah, Jennifer's evil and horrible. That's why I'm with you. And then immediately, as soon as Jennifer's like, oh, she was cheating on you with that one guy that you were kind of nervous about. Dude, come on.
Yeah.
Sorry, young Neil.
He was very chill about being eaten though.
Yeah, he didn't seem that upset. I guess he canceled himself. He's like, yeah, I had
He's
it
like, I
coming.
deserve this for believing Jennifer in the first place.
What did I get? I knew she's full of crap. Oh, I do love her remark when the emo guy invites her to Rocky Horror Picture Show, and she's like, "I don't like boxing movies."
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, check it out. It's actually pretty good, and all the cult you've been hearing about it. Yeah, it's a good movie.
I recommend it. I recommend it.
I'm definitely gonna watch it again in October.
Yeah, I could probably watch it again.
Though they totally missed not playing the whole song that's called Jennifer's Body, which is probably where the title came from. Like, they should have had that in the song.
Well,
would it have been funnier if that was the song that made them famous? This is like an alternate universe where they were studying.
So I've been kicking around this idea, 2 ideas, and I want you to think it over, and I'll put it in the group and see what everyone thinks. But what if we celebrate Halloween once a month? We do a horror film, and we have a Halloween themed show, and we do at least one horror film a month, and we could call it I don't know. We'll we'll keep Halloween
You have to
alive
workshop a name there.
through the year. Yeah, it's
So
Halloween.
just a horror movie every month. I mean, we can do that.
Just one a month, you know.
Make me watch scary movies every month.
Yeah, we'll keep Halloween alive until October. So,
Because in October we're gonna watch Jennifer's Body, and you're gonna watch Mamma Mia. So there, that's the real horror.
well, I'm just saying about it. And
It was all about Mamma Mia when that came out, and I didn't have time for Jennifer's Body. Now we're gonna watch them both.
there's
Here
so
we go again.
well, there's so many that we want to cover in October that we just never get around to them all, and this will allow us to,
Call it Halloween Lives.
yeah, Halloween lives.
So are we covered for March then, since we did Death Becomes Her in this movie?
I think,
Yeah.
I think that would qualify
Take one off for March.
for March. But next month we'll pick one show and we'll do a Halloween Lives show, and it'll be our little nod to Halloween throughout the year. And
Okay.
so my other idea, and this is just mine alone, anyone is welcome to sit in on this. I've been wanting to do this for a while. It'll probably be every other week because of just everything that goes on, regular show and work and whatnot. But, and I do not have a set day for this. It'll just be whenever I can get to it. But I'm going to pick a topic that is in the news that is relevant to today, and I'm going to pair that with a Star Trek episode or two. Probably just one
Okay.
episode. And I'm going to pair that and compare that to what's going on, whatever news story that we decide to cover. Because I think
Are you
that,
gonna do that all like late night DJ style, like smooth voice by yourself with some jams?
well,
This is Chris coming at you. We're going to talk some
The
Trek.
tense of the political
yeah.
stuff. you're
Well,
bringing
look, there are still things going on today that you can look back and find these shows that are 25, 35, 40 plus years old and still find relevancy in. And I don't know, I've always kind of liked that idea of being able to do that, and I think I don't know, I think it'd be interesting to do that. So
That'd be cool. I can't. Sorry, Lindsay.
no, go ahead.
That'd be a cool idea, but I can't say that I'm committed to do it every time you do it, depending on what day you do it on and things.
Just let Christopher get on here and talk to himself.
Yeah, I have no idea when I would do this. It's just something that because when I'm out on route, I have a lot of time to think, and I'll hear something on the radio that's news related, and I'll sit there and I'll be like, I'll just think through my head about what episode that might be relevant to and how I would approach talking about that. And I've gone over these in my head so many times, and I was like, man, I might as well just talk about these.
Okay.
I think it'd be fun. But yeah, I mean, I skim through. I'll pick. I mean, hell, I already have an episode if we wanted to talk about transgender topic.
Well, I mean, you could just do all of Deep Space Nine, right? With Dax.
But yeah, there's several there with Dax, but there's also an episode of TNG where Riker falls in love with an androgynous
What's the,
Okay. Well,
being.
let's be fair. Riker and Kirk do not have. They are very fluid in their sexuality.
They are, but but that's the thing. If people,
What's the episode where Trip gets pregnant?
yes, there's an Enterprise episode where Trip
W. Bush
Trip
was a baby.
becomes pregnant and becomes a surrogate for this alien, and he carries it to term and everything, and it's interesting. But there's lots of different topics and things that you can still relate to today, and I think I think it would be fun, So what I might do is get on the page and I'll pick a political topic, and I might put up a poll and say, or might throw up a few topics and be like, which topic would you like me to pair with Star Trek? Maybe get some polls going or something. But anyway, just an idea.
Interesting. Well, yeah, that could be fun. I'm just gonna say right now, I don't know if I can commit to every time you want to do it, but
Oh, for sure, for
I
sure.
support the idea, and I will try to participate as much as I can.
Sure, sure.
Even Christopher can't commit to every time.
Yeah, even I can commit. It was just something like I might do in passing, and
Get some last minute call-ins for the post office and the other time.
like I said, I might just like I said, I would probably throw a poll and do one and see how it goes, and but yeah, just a few things. So what do we want to cover next week?
Well, I got two ideas. So I want to keep up with at least movies that have a female protagonist, or I really would like to highlight films directed by women too this
Right.
month. And since Shazam is coming out next weekend, I mean, we could be basic and cover Wonder Woman. Or there are two films I have not seen. They have a bit of a cult following, and they were both directed by women. They were both not received well when they came out, and that is Tank Girl and another Karyn Kusama film, Eon Flux, or adaptation of Eon Flux.
I vote either one of those, but I'm for Tank Girl because she's a pretty kick-ass character, and the movie's
Oh,
bonkers.
we could do both, but if you want to just do one, we can just do one.
Do you want to do Aeon too?
Well, I haven't seen Aeon Flux, and I have seen Tank Girl. For some reason, I
No,
think
we
we
haven't.
talked
We
about
didn't watch Tank Girl, or you didn't finish it all the way through.
Oh, okay.
We
I
watched.
haven't seen either one of
We
them.
watched like a behind the
Yeah.
scenes. Yeah.
I've never seen either one either, and I know Tank Girl's got a bit of a cult following. Eon Flux might be bad, but it is Charlize Theron, so
Yeah.
could be okay.
I remember kind of getting. I kind of dozed in the theater with that one.
Oh.
I wasn't too impressed with that one, but I will give it another shot.
Where you're more mature now and you pay better attention.
Yeah, I'll give it another shot for sure. But I'm for those two if y'all want to do those.
Yeah, if you guys are game, that sounds good to me. I mean, I'm also fine being basic and watching Wonder Woman again because it rolls.
It does, but yeah, I think these are that's a pretty good film pairing. Like they're both really odd films in their own right, and the fact that you haven't seen them, Lindsay, you have not seen both of those.
I haven't seen Tank Girl all the way through, and I haven't seen any of the other.
Okay, I've seen them both, but it's been ages, so
they deserve another watch.
They definitely deserve another watch. So I'm cool with those two films. So Tank Girl and Aeon Flux it is.
All right. Well, if Eon Flux is bad, I'm sorry. It does have a 9% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, but
Oh.
Yeah, I do remember it not doing as well, but I thought that was because Charlize Theron was playing a character who is not supposed to be white, or am I thinking of another movie?
I'm not familiar with the I remember the cartoon on MTV back in the day, but I'm not familiar with the lore of the character. I know that Kusama wanted to cast Michelle Rodriguez originally in the role,
Oh,
and the studio wouldn't let her do that because they're like, that's not a. I guess I'm on a Kara Kusama vibe because I also wanted to talk about Girl Fight, but that one's hard to find, which was her first movie, and apparently that took forever to make because she specifically wanted a Latin actress in the lead.
I feel like she deserves the biggest apology of International Women's Month Day thing.
Well, there's so many women.
Oh yeah, they all definitely deserve a collective apology, but just since being introduced to her works, I feel like, man, think about all the times that somebody has just gotten in her way and not let her do and create the way that she wanted to.
Yeah, it's a shame, and
I'm glad that she's gotten other work, though they dishelved her Dracula movie she was supposed to be doing. So I guess she's still dealing with BS.
Mm.
And, well, yeah, that sounds good to me.
All right.
Yeah, guys, thanks for joining us again this week, and look for us next week for Tank Girl and Aeon Flux. Cody, thanks for joining us and talking these two, what I feel are very underrated films.
They're for sure underrated, and I would say they're both worth your time. Um, you probably want to check Jennifer's Body out more because you probably think that one's worse than it is. But if you haven't seen Death Becomes Her, you're gonna like it. It's Meryl Streep, it's Goldie Hawn, it's Bruce Willis. You're getting to see a side of Bruce Willis you don't normally see. I mean, is it one of Robert Zemeckis' best movies? No, but it's fun. It's a fun movie.
Right.
I appreciate a movie that's something I can sit down and watch and enjoy, and I can also just turn it on in the background and be like, oh, and go back to what I was doing.
Yeah, it is one of those movies, isn't it? It's a movie like you can sit down and engage in it, but you could also just have it on in the background and not be like, oh, I forgot what I was doing because I'm sucked into this movie. Not that that's a bad thing, because sometimes it's just good to have on in the background and enjoy.
Cracker, do you have something to say?
Cracker has a lot of opinions.
Yeah,
about
she's like,
movies.
go, it's time, it's my bedtime. It is past my bedtime.
It's like, will you shut up already?
Yeah, that's why I'm barking. You're disturbing my rest.
I don't care.
Oh.
I'm a dog. I don't even watch TV.
Well, she's half deaf and half blind. She can't hear or see it either. So.
Oh, well, there you go. So she doesn't even know. Poor thing.
All
All right.
guys. Yeah, we'll call it. Good night. Have a
Good night.
Good weekend.
Yes. Bye.
Mm.